I'm not crazy about ghosts. I know, I said this guide was to give some love to the often looked down upon first season, but I'm also not gonna lie to you. The strengths of the episode are, as will be a POI constant, in the flashbacks, which bring up mysteries and drama in what's otherwise a pretty run-of-the-mill plot of the week. But it's not without some memorable moments. Let's see what we can find. The episode actually has one of my favorite cold opens, with Reese snarkily saving a man from a hitman hired by his wife and kneecapping his would-be assailants.
I would call the police and a good divorce lawyer.
The episode also marks the beginning of John trying to get some intel on his new employer. He tries to tail him for a bit, but Finch seems to be a bit wiser.
We'll meet on my schedule.
Finch's new number takes them, weirdly enough, to a cemetery. It's Theresa Whitaker, a girl who was thought to have died along with the rest of her family. The going story is that after losing everything, the father killed the entire family in a fit of rage. But as they try to get more info on her, Theresa's actually alive. They find her stealing from an ATM with a skimmer. Reese finds her, but she gets away after cutting his hand. Finch, undercover as an insurance employee, talks to Theresa's Aunt Elizabeth and also finds out about her ex-husband, Derek, who they haven't heard from in a while. Reese runs into some tough luck in his search for information on the hitman, and we get this fantastic cutaway where we only hear the fighting noises as John takes on an impossible number of guys on his own. I like it. It elevates him to this semi-superhero. We don't need to see the actual fight to know John is scary, and he's probably always going to win.
Let's go.
With the information he beat out of people at the bar, John finds the original hitman hired to kill the family, who reveals that he left Theresa alive on purpose because he, quote, doesn't kill kids. The scene would ordinarily be exposition, except the hitman says something to John that I find interesting.
I get it. You're like me. A killer. A genuine bad guy.
In addition to the first episode, this is like the third use of the word bad guy. I'm not sure why the hitman himself would be saying this, but this definitely fits with what we've seen so far as John's evolving black and white morality of good and bad guys. Digging through Derek's records leads them to Landale Financial, and they find Derek meeting with the owner, Jimmy Calhoun. Reese finds Theresa again, and they have to evade the actual hitman this time, who Reese beats up in broad daylight at a laundromat. Eventually, they hide in a hotel room, and Finch decides to take care of her. Reese finds Derek, who confesses what happened, which is something like that Theresa's father had assets that were going to be given to Derek, and Theresa being alive jeopardizes Landale's hold on him, or something. To tell the truth, I never followed this story too closely. It's not explained in the clearest way, and doesn't emotionally grip me a ton. The long and short of it is, Grant, Theresa's father, put money on land that he swore would have a big payout. He didn't have enough money to cover all the parcels, so Derek here set him up with Landale to help cover some of the cost. The government took too damn long to clean up an oil spill, Landale wanted their money immediately and had the family taken out. The kicker is the land eventually did get cleaned up, and now it's worth 20-30 times what they put into it. Theresa's alive thanks to the hitman's refusal to kill kids, and she's the legal heir. Eventually, Derek refuses to reveal any information about Theresa, and the hitman kills him.
Kiss my ass.
John's smoke grenade moment of the episode isn't even in the laundromat fight. It's him slamming this big red semi into Calhoun. See, this is the kind of stuff that has me saying, please don't skip season 1. Come on.
This my shit.
Finch and Theresa hide from the hitman in a super tense scene that I really like. And there's this bit where he cleverly cuts the power in the hallway to locate their room, and they frantically turn off all the lights. It's great suspense. They're cornered when John shows up and shoots the guy at the absolute last second. Cool dude. John leads Theresa to Carter, and with her testimony, Calhoun is arrested. Eventually, Reese returns to Finch's office, but finds it's been cleared out. And of course, the most interesting piece of the episode, the flashbacks. The first flashback is from 2002, where we see Finch and Ingram working on an early version of the machine that's just surveilling New York City. Finch is teaching it the ability to track people and to sort through all the data. The second flashback is from 2007, and it's glued together with the scene in which Finch tells Theresa that they're narrative parallels. Sorry, he tells her that he knows what it's like to lose someone and to feel the need to disappear. Nathan finds out about the machine's discovery of irrelevant crimes and is angry at Finch for hiding it from him. Finch responds that the machine is supposed to save everybody, and not just one person. We get the first usage of the word irrelevant, as Finch uses it to describe those victims' relationship to national security, to the larger picture, we might say. They're irrelevant to larger losses of life, but saving them is worth the greater good. Nathan chides him for it, using particular phrasing.
You want to play God? Is that
No,
it?
I don't.
He asks how they're supposed to live knowing people need help, and Finch explains that they won't have to, because he's coded the machine to delete the irrelevant list every night. And out of those inconvenient lives they ignore, a new set of ghosts. Finch's reasoning is something like utilitarianism. The machine produces the most common good by ensuring national security and preventing casualties in large numbers. Risking it being shut off for a few lives isn't worth the risk. Just before he shuts it down, we see Jessica, John's dead girlfriend, on screen. And then finally, in the last shot, in the office where Finch works, or worked, there was a memorial bust for Nathan Ingram. Ghosts is co-written by Jonah and Greg, which should mean it's a knockout, but I find, as I mentioned, very average. That said, second episodes are rarely where all the great stuff happens, so I'm not too mad about it. This one's pretty simple. The title is plural, and there are in fact a few ghosts in the episode.
Now you'll not escape me.
First, our person of interest. Teresa's obviously a ghost, evading her killers, presumed dead, just like a certain dramatic CIA op we know. John is a ghost to the CIA and to Carter, who is officially now on the hunt for him. And Harold, the ghost who clears out his office on a dime to keep his privacy. When John first visits Finch at his cover office, he tells him,
"The best place to hide, Mr. Reese, as you well know, is in plain sight."
Finch is a ghost now as he was then, invisible behind the public face of Nathan Ingram, and now as an employee of his own company. Nathan Ingram is Finch's personal haunt. He died under circumstances we don't know much about yet, and Finch is extremely committed to upholding what seems to have been, we just found out, one of his wishes, which is not to neglect the irrelevant numbers. We also get an interesting comparison to the two partnerships he's in now. With John, he's a very private person, and with Nathan Ingram, he talks about being very comfortable with their division of labor, which is that Nathan is the public face, and Harold works very privately behind the scenes. The week's perpetrator motivation is also pretty simple: greed and the disregard for human life. Landale, who killed Teresa's family, and Finch, who feels responsible for the losses of people he could have saved. There's also a relevant repeated line here, the "you're going to have to trust someone." John and Harold both say it to Theresa when they realize that her inability to trust is going to put her in more danger if she can't stay with them. Then John reuses the line later, trying to appeal to Harold, who's pushing the distance between them when he clears out his office. Clearly, it's easier for the both of them to try to convince someone else to trust than to do it themselves. Sometimes the lessons we try to tell others are the ones that are harder to do on our own. In this case, you have to give trust to get trust. Maybe John and Harold will get there.